For the distinction part of this video, we will be explaining in more depth the different types of fences you'd expect to find in both a British novice show jumping course and the cross-country phase of a 1 metre eventing track.
Allowing the horse freedom to use himself over the jump comes from a rider having a good cross-country position.
The upper body should move forward to keep the rider central to the horse's point of balance.
Constant contact gives the horse confidence on takeoff.
The upper body should be still and looking ahead. This is again vital for balance.
Lower leg security is paramount if you are to achieve a strong cross-country position.
Banks and steps are a test of the horse's athletic ability and judgment. This means that the rider needs to be confident on approach. The horse will need to be powerful in its canter in order to give it the impulsion to get up the actual bank. The rider needs to be very supportive and balanced with the horse so that he doesn't tip the horse to one side when dropping off a bank. This is important because the getaway off the fence needs to be quick in order to keep up with the time on your cross-country course.
Some horses never seem to notice a ditch, and some horses may never worry, and sometimes they can be rider frighteners, which means the rider's attitude can be crucial. This is a typical example of a fence where the strength of the contact can imbue confidence in the horse, and along with giving good leg aids will ensure your horse jumps with no worries. When approaching the ditch, you should treat a ditch or trachina as a triple bar, as if the ditch wasn't there, and approach it at a decent speed and with commitment. It is also vital to keep the leg firm and firmly on and maintain a secure seat.
Accuracy fences are things such as corner fences and skinners. With your approach, you need to spend a lot of time preparing and balancing the horse. In most cases, he will need to be very engaged in a steady canter. This means that he will have to be between the hand and leg and channeled directly into the centre of the fence. You can use a slightly wider hand to ensure you get maximum straightness, and when the hands are closer together, it means that it will be less effective. You'll need a firm leg on your horse so he doesn't back off of the fence or try and duck out. Make sure you are looking in the direction in which you want to go. If you look up, then your horse will probably be more confident and less on the forehand, meaning he will have a better canter and approach to your fence.
With water jumps, horses are more likely to back off, and so then the canter will slow down more. This will mean that the rider will need to have more leg on, and it is more effort to get to. With the approach and position, in competition, approach to the water at strong yet short canter. Give your horse time to assess what is being asked, but don't reduce speed so that much that he grinds to a halt. Maintain a short, bouncy canter while travelling through water because it will make it easier to judge how to jump an obstacle in water or one out of it. Avoid allowing your horse to fall into a long, fast canter stride, the cause of many mistakes. Make sure he doesn't become strung out and laboured in his stride. Unless your horse still finds cantering in water too difficult, trot is not advisable as it makes tripping out over a step more likely. An obstacle sighted in water needs plenty of preparation, even if it is a straightforward fence in itself. Allow your horse time to find his feet and judge the jump through the spray while maintaining maximum impulsion. Sit up and maintain hand and leg contact throughout.
Sunken roads and coffins are very similar to ditches. The horse will need to have a strong bouncy canter with plenty of energy so the horse becomes committed to the actual jumping effort. The rein needs to be very secure, however able to release if the horse takes the ditch very big or bold. Your position needs to be in good contact at the point of takeoff, and this is crucial because you don't want your reins to flop or to release at all because the horse may refuse or duck out. Horses do find sunken roads scary because they are jumping into a small confined space and need to have the canter bold enough to jump out in a short bounce. The key to this fence is the approach, which will determine how the rest of the combination is actually jumped. A too slow approach will result in a lack of impulsion and maybe a stop because the horse will back off. However, too fast isn't advisable either, as the horse may become too deep and can result in falls.
This is a BE course, which is the grassroots course. The course is pretty straightforward and it's got some good lines, and apart from the combination over at the top of the map, which is called the Woodhouse combination as you turn back on yourself, that can be quite tricky. Also with the course there's a lot of straightforward fences. With the more upright fences, there was things on the floor which people could use as a ground line, which would make it easier to jump. With the water fence, the fence was quite spooky and it was in the shape of a fish, and then it didn't allow anyone to see if there was water behind it. So as soon as the horse realised there was water at such a short time, there was a lot of refusals, as the horse could have got freaked out easily. Each horse reacts differently to every fence. So some horses could be fine with the water, but whereas they could freak out at a corner fence and adapt riding. Yeah.
Walking the cross-country course is detrimental to how your round is going to go. It is important that you leave ample time to walk the course. It usually takes around 45 minutes to thoroughly walk the average one-day event course. If you feel you may need to do so, it is important that you have the time to maybe walk it twice. If you aren't a competent rider or you don't know exactly how your horse is going to go, it may be useful to take someone more knowledgeable like your instructor around with you to point out potential downfalls in the course. Often people do it the night before and on the morning of the competition, so it is fresh in their mind. As you walk the course, you need to bear in mind your own experience as well as the horse's ability. And approaching each fence is mainly the important part, so you need to count your strides well and think hard about how your horse is going to react. You also need a plan B in your mind, as nothing goes to plan with horses, and you may end up in a predicament where you don't know where you're going or you have to take a different route. So a plan B is definitely something you need to have. Riding cross country means that you may need to encourage your horse and improve his confidence levels. If he does have a bad jump or a knock earlier on in the course, this may affect the way the rest of the course rides. You need to appreciate this and understand your horse, as well as giving him the confidence to carry on.
With the younger horse, it is always important to be giving them confidence constantly. As they have less experience than the older horse, which had been competing a lot more, the younger horse will require a confident rider, and don't push it too much. Don't push the horse too much. For example, don't enter the horse if it's been schooling 90 centimetres at home. Don't take it into a metre class out competing, as this can destroy the horse's confidence, which will take a lot more hard work and can destroy the rider's confidence too. Moreover, with the young horse, it's also important to do plenty of schooling and preparation before competition. Especially with cross-country fences, as all fences look different and need to be approached differently, whereas in show jumping everything pretty much looks the same and it's always the same pace and rhythm.
Show jumping is less complex than cross country. There are much less different types of fences and most of them can be rode similarly. To start with, I will explain the upright. An upright fence is commonly jumped bad by event horses, as they don't achieve the shape over them and aren't generally as careful with the legs. The jump should be approached with power rather than like a strong pace, and the rider should avoid using too much hand during take-off, as this may result in the horse dropping a leg and bringing down the top rail. Gentle support and a good strong leg should be applied by the rider to ensure the horse has sufficient energy and is not clumsy over the fence.
With an oxer style jumping, show jumping, it's more important that the horses got more of an open stride approaching the jump and slightly more longer to be able to reach over the jump. It's also important that the rider is also outside the saddle a bit longer as well, so then the horse's back legs don't get on the jump.
It is important to set the horse up well for a double or a triple. This first fence of this will be detrimental to the rest of the combination. If you get a bad stride to your first fence, you will most likely get a bad one to the second and or third. Walking the course can significantly improve the way the rider rides a double or triple. They should know their own horse's stride length and be able to adapt this to how the course is set out. Often on a double and triple, the first fence is an upright and the second is a spread. This needs to be adapted to the riding as well, therefore the rider will need to push on more for the spread and stay out of the saddle longer, as previously mentioned.
In show jumping, there's always going to be fillers in a show jumping course. Especially the worst time when there are fillers is when there's a double or a triple, as this can back the horse off when they're looking at the second part of the double. For example, the first part of the jump may have no filler, then the second part of the double may have a filler on, which can back the horse off and make them refuse the first part of the double. Also, there can be also water trees as well. This can make the horse, it's just like going over a ditch cross country. Some horses may be bothered, some horses aren't. It's also always important when approaching a filler, the horse may back off and come off your leg. It's always important to try and give them a smack with the whip and get them to go forward with a lot of impulsion. This also links to the young horses. Most young horses are bothered about fillers as they can look scary to them. It's always important to have a lot of practice at home going over different fillers in different sort of jumps. It's also important with the young horse to, again, just like cross country, to try and not to knock the horse's confidence. For example, don't enter a classic competition which is a lot bigger than what you've been jumping at home. For example, jumping 90 centimetre at home and jumping a metre out competing.
Walking the course is essential for show jumping, especially between your doubles and triples. This course is quite nice. There's a long sweeping turn from number 1 to number 2. However, there is a short strided distance between 2 and 3, which you would need to walk accurately. There is then a smooth sweeping turn to the left to number 4, which again is quite easy to do. And again, a strong change in direction to the opposite direction over number 5, a smooth turn to number 6, and a slightly sharper turn to number 7. For number 6, you would need a bit more power in your canter, as it's a spread, so the horse will need to pick up its legs and be a lot longer strided. However, it would need to be more collected for your turn to number 7 and rebalanced onto the correct leading leg. There's another change in direction completely from number 7 to 8, and then you are straight into a triple. The triple has 2 spreads to start with on a 1 stride, and then a 2 stride to the third element of the fence. Number 10 is a 3-bar Jacob's ladder and turning back on yourself again. So this is important that you have a long run up, however the canter remains bouncy and strong, as you don't want your horse to clip the final rail. There's a nice sweeping turn into number 11, which again it is a double with a oxer to start with over an upright for the last fence. So you'll need your horse to be nice and collected so it's able to jump the last part of the fence easily. Number 12 is a nice sweeping turn again down over the oxer, so again you'll need a nice bouncy canter to ping that. And then 13 is a simple upright fence to finish.
Thanks for watching!